No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, good morning. How we doing, Bronco Nation? Welcome on into a live edition of Bronco Nation News here at BroncoNationNews.com. My name is BJ Rains. Mike Prater is there in the RowPaint.com studios in downtown Boise. And Mike, there's not too many better days than when you wake up knowing that you'll be landing at some point and going to bed in Vegas later that night. Excited for all of us in the BNN crew, KTIK crew, as we head to Vegas this evening and get things started on Mountain West Media Days coverage tomorrow morning.
No doubt about it. It's kind of the unofficial start to the college football season for us. I know Boise State opens camp here in a couple of weeks, and this is kind of the beginning of our training camp. So looking forward to it. Always appreciate your partnership and what you're doing for KTIK, and love working with BNN. So it's going to be a big week. And tomorrow and Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday, I know we got a lot of stuff planned. Let's talk about it. Let's have a great week, my friend.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I made a quick trip to St. Louis here to drop off my kids. They're going to stay with grandparents for the week, so I'm in my dad's office here, and we are heading later this afternoon. We will meet you and Jeanty tonight in Las Vegas. We got Coach Kent Riddle, we got Nathan Carroll, we got Jaden Finch, the rest of the BNN crew coming down tomorrow morning, and we'll be rolling deep with the BNN KTIK crew the next few days. Tomorrow morning, Johnny and I will be live in the sports book to kind of preview some of the over-under win totals and some of the gambling aspect that Circa Sports has on the Mountain West. I mean, remember this time last year, even though we love Circa Sports, Mike Prater, we were kind of ripping on them a little bit because they didn't even have Ashton Jeanty on the board for the Heisman last year going into the season. And then next thing you know, he finishes second. So we'll see if there's any Boise State players, even with crazy odds on there somewhere, or Mountain West players. But we'll look at the over-under, the win totals, all the Vegas aspect of this, and we'll discuss our number one storyline as we finish our Countdown to Camp series from the sportsbook there on Boise State, trying to go back-to-back to the CFP. I know you guys will be live from the sportsbook as well in the afternoon tomorrow to kick things off. But, flying down tonight, we've got all kinds of different events the next couple of days, all the players on Wednesday, all the coaches on Thursday, and going to be an interesting time at Mountain West Media Days, our final Mountain West Media Days, Mike Prater. Not the final one, but the final one for us as we cover Boise State, and they will head to the Pac-12, and we'll have the Pac-12 Media Days starting next year, hopefully in Vegas, and hopefully we can get lucky and they're back at Circa somehow. Be very interesting, Mike. I know you've been to a lot of these things. There's been different ones with teams coming and going and last year's and conferences and things like that, but with all the lawsuits and all that kind of stuff, I talked about it with you guys on Idaho Sports Talk on Friday. But I think this has a chance with, essentially half the league, 5 of the 11, 12 teams down here almost, leaving after this year. I think it has a chance to be a very interesting couple of days down in Vegas.
Oh, it'll definitely be an interesting couple of days in Vegas, and that's going to be the cloud that's going to kind of hover over, but it's not going to be too much of a dark cloud. These guys have been wrangling behind the scenes for almost 2 years now, and I know it's gotten a little pesky with some court battles, one in California, one in Colorado, and it looks like it might be getting a little contentious, and there might be some kind of a stalemate. We'll see how it all plays out based on some of the reporting that's been out there the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. But I think it'll be okay. I mean, Jeremiah Dickey will see Gloria in the hallway, and he'll shake her hand. They'll probably even hug it out a little bit and pretend like everything's okay. It's almost like there's a personal relationship between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West, including the commissioners, by the way, who are very, very, very close friends. And then there's also this angst, this business-like angst that's going on. And we'll tap into the business-like angst tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday for sure, and try to cover that as the best we can down there. But I think it'll be mostly friendly, mostly favorable. I don't expect a lot, but certainly going into this knowing that there's going to be some kind of cloud hovering above the Pac-12, the Mountain West over these next couple of days. It's going to be very interesting for sure.
Yeah, and I know you're working on a column for Bronco Nation News on one question you have for every Mountain West coach. I'm not sure if you're doing that alphabetical or by the standings prediction or how important the questions are to you. But what are give us a tease on that here. What's a question or two? And when you sit down with all these coaches here at Mountain West Media Days and have a chance, whether it's on your show or in the print media room there, all the different interviews we have, or if it's just, bumping shoulders with them at the cocktail hour, what's a question or two that Mike Prater has going into media days here?
Yeah, I did it based on my ballot, my preseason ballot, and I think we're allowed to put that stuff out there. But I voted Boise State number one. My top 3 were Boise State, and my big question for Spencer Danielson is exactly how are you going to handle the running back situation, especially coming off last year? You got one of the deepest running back rooms in the Mountain West. You got a really good offensive line, and they nominated Sire Gaines for running back. They nominated Malik Sherrod for preseason All Mountain West running back and kick returner. Breezy Dubar, Dylan Riley. I'm not sure how much of a factor they're going to be into the season, what they are going to play. So I want to know from Spencer Danielson exactly what's the plan for running back. My number 2 question was to Jay Norvell in terms of just getting over the hump. This is a proud long-term member of this program, and they have never played in the Mountain West Championship game. I have them number 2 this year going into this season. They were really, really close last year. I believe it was that loss at Fresno that knocked them out. And I think that they got a decent quarterback and then coming back. And then number 3 for me was Dan Mullen at UNLV. The kind of chemistry with 30, he lost 35, he gained 35, he signed 18 high school kids. It's just a revolving door. And with that early season schedule, which includes a game against UCLA, what kind of chemistry can UNLV have? I suspect they might get off to a little bit of a slow start, but then be a major player in the Mountain West as the season goes along.
Yeah, and obviously Wednesday morning, Gloria Nevarez will do her address to the league, and there's the media members, and she'll have all of her bullet points and talking points. But I will be curious, kind of the tone that she takes in this. I mean, remember last year? I think it was last year about this time, Mike Prater, a day or two before media days, they announced that they had reached the agreement with San Diego State to drop their issues that they had over San Diego State trying to go to the Pac-12, and then it didn't happen. They said, "Oh no, you left. You told us you're leaving. See ya." And then they let San Diego State back in. That was maybe 2 years ago or last year, whenever that was. But we've had this before where there's been ongoing litigation and things right around media days. So what tone do you think Gloria Nevarez takes with her address and what she's going to say about all this? And then, even as recently as last week, we have Boise State, San Diego State, some of these schools coming out with pretty terse statements, ripping the league for bringing in Grand Canyon, much to their disappointment on the basketball side, and saying we'll be using this in the litigation and things like that. So What do you think is she going to come out swinging? Does she play nice? What do you make here? And do we get any kind of update, do you think, of where things stand? That the mediation was supposed to end. They gave them a 60-day grantal to add 60 days to extend the litigation, I guess, or to push it off so they could try to have this mediation and come to agreement. I believe tomorrow, July 15th, is actually when the 60 days ends. So do you think we get any kind of news on settlements or things like that before Gloria Nevarez takes the stage?
Probably not big news, although sometimes that's where these things do come from. So we'll see how it plays out. I suspect we're not going to get any big news. I don't say this lightly, and I do like Gloria. I think she's done a really good job at the Mountain West. I wonder if she's doing too good of a job in terms of just going out and collecting a lot of teams and basing that on some money that she still doesn't have. But I like her aggressive approach. I like her as a person. We've all got to know her. But let's in my opinion, let's be honest. She's not a great public speaker. When she stands up behind the podium as the Mountain West commissioner, she doesn't look smooth and she doesn't look polished. And at times she looks a little bit uncomfortable. She doesn't have a lot of substance in what she says. And I know that probably is kind of a cheap shot, but I've just been watching her for the last 2 or 3 years, and that's the perception I get. I think she's going to stumble her way through, the business of the Mountain West, and she's going to put a spin on it that the Mountain West is proud and loud and never been stronger and never been more situated for the future of college athletics. She's going to put that spin on it. I would imagine that she's going to take a couple of cheap shots, whether they're subtle cheap shots or just flexing her muscle type of shots at the Pac-12 or the powers to be. What that looks like, what that form will be like, we'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to her conversation, looking forward to her standing up and just being really strong. This is a really important speech for her as the Mountain West moves forward, and she needs to come through. She needs to look polished. And I would imagine she's going to throw a couple of minor haymakers to the people that she's been fighting the last couple of years.
And what about Jeremiah Dickey? I mean, he speaks tomorrow on your show. He'll have the first word. You guys will there in Vegas with Jeremiah Dickey tomorrow on KTIK. He'll sit down at the BNN set, I believe, on Thursday. He'll be down there hanging out for a couple of days. And we saw the statement, and it wasn't attributed to him. It was the athletic department as a whole. But obviously he approved that, and is a big part of that statement before it went out. And it was a pretty terse statement there. And then somebody said something on Twitter about go get him, JD, or something. And his reply simply was, we'll exit the league on June 30th, 2026 or whatever. I mean, it was a very kind of short statement. Knowing JD the way that we do, what do you make of how he's going to handle all this down there in Vegas?
Yeah, he's so stinking polished, man. And he'll have a conversation with you and he'll kind of set the tone and the vibe, but he's so tight-lipped right now. And the new Pac-12 has been really, really tight-lipped. There isn't a lot of athletic directors or other administrators, officials out there that are kind of talking about things out there in public. So he's going to talk around it. He'll dance around it. We got some specific questions for him tomorrow when he shows up on Idaho Sports Talk live from the sports book there at Circa. And we'll talk about some of that kind of stuff. But I think he's going to play it pretty smooth. This court stuff is getting close, and nobody wants to rock the boat. I think we're about to hear some one thing that we won't hear more media packages coming out here. If the Pac-12 launches a media package or puts out a press release this week, that'll be kind of an interesting thing. No Pac-12 media days, by the way. In the past, it's kind of corresponded with some Mountain West stuff down in Vegas, but it looks like they're going to do more of a quiet campus thing in Pullman and Corvallis in August. So no Pac-12 presence going forward, and I do kind of miss that a little bit.
Yeah, they had the Big 12 going on down there at the same time. So you had the Ross Dellingers of the world and all the national people in town last year, which is why the Pac-12 kind of made their big thing to come do their little pony show at the wherever they were at, Bellagio or something, and had a little event. And Ashton Jeanty went over there and did his one-on-one thing. I tried pretty hard, Mike, to get Ashton Jeanty, and I guess there's still a 2% chance. But, I mean, I really tried with his agent and with the Raiders. He's already in town. We saw him down there at Summer League. They don't have to report, I think, till like Thursday. So, I mean, he has a day or two free, and I thought it would have been a cool deal to say, hey, a year ago, this guy couldn't even get in to Circa. Now here he is, the 6th pick, already owning the town of Las Vegas. Here he is coming to hang out with us at media days. And so I tried. Don't think it's going to happen, but it is crazy when you think about the whole deal last year where we had to walk across the street to Golden Gate to interview him, and he couldn't even get in, and they looked at doing a hologram AI type thing with them, and they just couldn't get it done. And so he's over at the Golden Gate, and it's almost kind of sad, really. You walk in there and he's in his own little hotel, his own little room with his own backdrop, and just sitting there doing his interviews. And now here he is, the Heisman runner-up, the 6th pick in the draft, back in Vegas, getting ready to start his rookie season, where by all accounts he is just absolutely killed it and is already a rock star there in Vegas, Mike. Crazy to think about all that last year. And then now you get here and he's with the Raiders and in the same town.
That was one of the most surreal moments that any of us will ever have, just kind of huddled around him and his couch. He's got I think it was a teenage nephew kind of off in the corner. That was his entire entourage, one teenage nephew, or maybe it was a cousin. I can't remember, but some kind of family member. And it was kind of in this cheap, it was a suite, but it was kind of this cheap old time Vegas suite. And it was very weird. That's when we were huddled around him and he said, my goal is to go for 2,000 yards. Oh, really? It's 2,000 yards from scrimmage, passing and receiving? No, 2,000 yards rushing. And we all kind of like, okay. And we grilled him about that a little bit. And boy, that dude had a big old fat smile on his face and he's never been more confident. And look what he did. He came through. So that was kind of the highlight of last year. It's going to be a little bit different this year for sure. But the ghost of Ashton Jeanty lingers over this football program, and none of us will ever forget that crazy moment in Las Vegas last year.
Sky Ship saying last season was one for the ages. Thanks for the great coverage from BNN. Literally step of the way. I guess it's a perfect time to throw in a plug for our new subscription here, Mike Prater. Hopefully folks will make the switch. Your column, I've been trying to tease them with a little bit of VIP content, a little bit of free content. Your column will be behind the paywall, so the perfect time for folks today to sign up. I did, Mike. I should throw this out there. I got approval from our folks at 247 because of Media Days this week. They're keeping the 75% deal going, but it does end on Thursday night at the end of Media Days. Last time, last chance, it ends on Thursday. So if you want 75% off, that's $30 for a full year at Bronco Nation News. And we're even going to do a VIP interview with Spencer Danielson, Mike Prater, where you have to be a subscriber to be a part of our interview with Spencer Danielson. We have some other VIP stuff planned down there in Vegas this week. So if you're on the fence about it, if you want full coverage, wall to wall, we're going to be streaming for 5 hours each day, exclusive interviews. We got Nathan Carroll down there writing articles. We got Mike Prater down there doing columns, and kick it off today with one question, one topic Mike Prater has for every Mountain West coach. That'll be a VIP column today up on the site. And Mike, it's been fun. We're about 2 weeks in. The interest has been great from folks, but still pushing this while we can. I know a lot of folks are still trying to figure out, does my subscription renew? How does this work? They just kind of figure it. But I've told folks, if you want a refund on your old BNN subscription, just email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. Whatever is left, your prorated refund, I will give it to you. And then you can take that and sign up for 247 Sports. And again, right now, it's only $2.50 a month. I think it's $30 or something like that for the full year, 365 days of coverage. And this gets you access to all of our exclusive content, all of our recruiting content. Chris has been killing it talking to the recruits and stuff. We got another article going up today talking to one of the Boise State commits. So tons of recruiting coverage. You get Brandon Huffman stuff, and you got all the message board chatter and banter going back and forth. And Mike, it's been pretty well received. I know you're enjoying being part of this 247 Sports crew, and hopefully folks will take advantage here of the 75% off sale for Media Days this week, because we got a lot planned down there in Vegas.
Yeah, I've loved it. I think it's pretty cool, and congratulations to you and the management team and everybody that's kind of put this together, and the folks at 247 Sports. I'm just kind of an outsider who's having fun. I dipped into the message boards more than I ever have in my entire life. One, to kind of watch you fight and battle with some of these people and try to smooth over some rough edges, and then also win some people over, and even got in there and kind of had a conversation with a couple of people. So I think it's been kind of fun. It's what sports should be about. Nothing should be overly serious. We're all just here kind of through our passion for Boise State athletics, and passion can take on so many different ways. Just because you're not a hardcore fan spending money out there, we're passionate about what we do. We're passionate about having the opportunity to cover Boise State athletics, and I think it's really cool, and I think it comes through. So it's a really cool team that we've put together, that you've put together, and I'm honored to be a part of it, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and I have a feeling that this week we're going to create a lot of good vibes then when we're in Vegas for the 247 Sports Bronco Nation News team. Looking forward to it.
Just go to bronconationnews.com. That is the website, bronconationnews.com. Click the join button up there in the upper right-hand corner, and it's literally 3 or 4 clicks. And like I said, $30 one-time fee gets you your full year at BNN. If you like it, in the first year, you can renew at the full price. I think it's about $10 a month, $11 a month, something like that, $120 for the year or something like that. But that does include, when it renews, Mike, the Paramount Plus subscription, which basically pays for it itself a year from now. But if not, then it was $30 and you got it for $250 a month. And if it wasn't what you were looking for, then you can just cancel it at the end of next year, and we'll be disappointed, but understand that as well. So take advantage of that. Again, it's only going to be up till Media Days ends on Thursday. Then they are taking that offer down, and it goes back. The discount goes away. So please sign up now, BroncoNationNews.com. Help us out, $30. Again, we're bringing 5 people down to Las Vegas for Media Days right when you're starting a new business and the cash flow is what it is, Mike. I love paying for 5 people going to Vegas. We're going to make it work here, though. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and our friends at Circa always have been a big partner of ours, and we thank them. So, yeah, BroncoNationNews.com. Sign up right now. And speaking of signups, Mike Prater, we would love to get folks signed up for the Millions and the Circa Survivor contest down there in Vegas. $21 million in prizes. We'll tell you more about it in Las Vegas this week at Circa, but their ultimate contest weekend is coming up next month. There's nothing better than having a flight to Vegas, Mike Prater, tonight, but already having a flight booked to come back in a month. Knowing I have multiple trips to Vegas here coming up. So the ultimate contest weekend, that's in August. And I know our brand Brad Bedell and a lot of folks are going to go down for that, but there's all kinds of open bars and happy hours and contests and things going on, blackjack tournaments. So get a couple buddies together, enter the contest down there in Vegas, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to that, and that's the Circa Survivor, the Circa Millions, $21 million on the line. You can play from anywhere in the world using our proxy, Tom Carroll. So Vegas football proxy service will hook you up with Tom. You just have to go to Vegas to sign up. So if you're interested, go to Vegas. Reach out to me. I can get you the hotel info for the discounted rooms during contest weekend. We'll take you and buy you a dinner at Barry's. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's August 21st, 23rd, and that is week 0, Mike Prater. So you've got football games you can bet on. The big primetime Fox matchup, Fresno State and Kansas. Can't wait for that one. But there's a couple other, I joke, there's a couple other games that weekend as well, and should be fun. But again, that's the Circa Million, Circa Survivor sign up coming up in August. Hey, I do want to get to our football topics today, Mike, but I want to thank a couple sponsors real quick, including our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and RowePaint.com. There would be no Bronco Nation news, folks, without Andy Rowe and RowePaint.com. So all your painting needs, make sure you sign up, give them a call, and they will take care of you, come out and give you a free estimate. And whether it's a concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, they're ready to help you out at RowePaint.com. Taco Bell, the local Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations, they're doing so much for Boise State. They've committed more than $400,000 in student-athlete scholarships for the men's and women's basketball program. They're endowed scholarships. So return the favor, folks. Next time you're looking to have lunch or take your family out to dinner, hit up Taco Bell. And I say this all the time, but literally I'd say 1 out of every 2 or 3 times I go to Taco Bell, the Eagle Road location, I see the Nicolason family in there. Like, the food is so good, even the owner takes his family and they eat there at Taco Bell. So head on out to Taco. I mean, who else does that for some? I mean, that's just the SON management group, the Nicolason family. They're just great people. I know they're involved with you guys as well, Mike, and they're just a great family. They do a tremendous job. So we appreciate Stan and Steven and the whole crew there. And return the favor, folks, and visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And we've got a live broadcast during fall camp coming up from the Eagle Road, or the Broadway location there near campus. So we'll tell you more about that moving forward here. Tyson Degenhardt, I do want to get to his summer league, or lack of summer league, I guess. Hasn't gotten on the court a whole lot through the first couple of games, but we'll maybe touch on that later in the show. But Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. And if you're going out to Roaring Springs, make sure you hit up Jackson's or Extra Mile. You can save up to $32 on 4 tickets when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products. Just go into Jackson's or Extra Mile, buy 2 Coca-Cola products. They'll give you a voucher for $8 off. You can do it 4 times. That's $32 in savings from our friends at Jackson's. And Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game. I know we're going to get Mike Prater hopefully out there in the pool at some point while we're there at Circa, maybe over in the hot tub. But if not, Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game can help take care of you in Boise. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa, been around since 1978. They are part of the Boise State home team. So check them out, whether it's at pool table, whether it's at sauna, whether it's the spa. TheSpaTeam.com has you covered. Check them out today at TheSpaTeam.com. All right, Mike, we got 2 topics we got to hit on today as our countdown to camp series continues. I was not able to do a show Thursday and Friday. They schedule these baseball tournaments. They forget people have day jobs and work, and we had 8 a.m. games on Thursday and Friday, so I was unable to do a show. So we were behind on the on the Countdown to Camp series today, Mike. So we're going to hit our number 3 question and our number 2 question, and then Johnny and I will finish up with the number 1 Countdown to Camp question tomorrow. But one offensive question, one defensive question for you today, Mike. We'll start with the defense. Our number 3 question is, can this defense be CFP-caliber? And it's kind of the way we phrased it. But, I mean, last year you had Jeanty, you had the running game, you controlled the clock, and obviously the defense did some pretty nice things, all the sacks that they had and some of that kind of stuff. But we've talked ad nauseum about the pass defense really needing to make some big improvements this year, and you lose some really key players from this defense. And Boise State defensively last year, Mike Prater finished 50th in the SP Plus rankings. They gave up at least 20 points 9 different times. We all remember that season opener where they gave up 40-plus points to Georgia Southern, and had some other games where they had to outscore some teams. But overall, the defense, the offense isn't going to be quite what it is. I mean, maybe it is, but it's going to look a little different without Jeanty this year. What do you make of this defense? And like I said, there's some good, there's some bad. We've talked about all the different individual units all summer long. When you put the whole defense together here, our question is simply, can the defense be CFP caliber? And I mentioned they were 50th, Mike, in the SP Plus rankings. That was by far and away the worst of any of the 50 playoff or the 12 playoff teams. The next lowest team was down at 30th, SMU, and then all those other teams were right there, in the top 10. So not statistically at 50th is a defense that makes the CFP. Can they get to a level that can they're more of an asset than maybe a harm at times this year as they look to go back-to-back?
Yeah, the easy answer to this question is no. I mean, Boise State's on the surface going into the season, not even close to a CFP defense. Now, you don't have to have, and Boise State proved that last year, as you just so pointed out, you don't have to have a CFP-type defense to get into the college football playoff tournament. So I'm a little concerned about this defense because this might be one of those years where they're going to need to step up. The last couple of years, especially with Ashton Jeanty and some of the firepower this football team's had on offense, I don't want to say they've bailed out the defense. A couple of years ago, Spencer's first year, I think they gave up 24, 25 points a game. It got better last year. They were down around 21, 22, 23 points a game. So there was some circumstances that made this defense better. But you know what? And I hate to bring this up because this won't be very popular, but this defense needs to get back to where it was under Andy Avalos. If you go back and look at Andy Avalos for those couple of years, nobody was scoring even 20 points against them. Boise State's defense was averaging about 18, 19 points a game in terms of giving it up. That's jumped up now. And it's kind of weird that Spencer Danielson is the defensive coordinator, and as he's made this transition, it hasn't been as smooth as maybe this offense. So here in Boise, we always want the offense to be first. We always want the star quarterback, the star running back, and the star wide receiver, and they've done a nice job of that. And they've had a good defense. It's just not an elite defense. It's not a great defense. It's not a CFP defense. And frankly, with the players that I see here and the question marks going into this season, that we'll debate a lot over these next couple of days in Vegas, I don't see it on paper right now as a CFP defense. I really don't.
And you can read Nathan Carroll's article right now, some great numbers. That's why I love having Nathan on board. He just dives into the numbers and the analytics and what the pro football focus numbers and the professionals, Mike, to know way more about this kind of stuff than the surface level stuff that we can provide. And so you can read it right now at BroncoNationNews.com. And he does note there were some moments for the defense last year. They held Hawaii to just 7 points on the islands. The Wyoming game, that was a really scary, tough game. The defense played really well, and they won that game 17-13 there at Wyoming later in the season, and then dominated that Mountain West Championship game. They won 21-7. So there was some positives there, but he mentioned Oregon, Penn State, their two best teams on the schedule. Neither one of those went very well. And I know a lot of people will point to the special teams in that Oregon game, but they still gave up 6.5 yards per play and a 46% success rate defensively. And then he notes the defense was a little better against Penn State, but still gave up 5.6 yards per play. Never seemed to take the Nittany Lions out of their comfort zone there for the most part in the Penn State game as well. So I mentioned SMU being 30th, and he talks about Arizona State. They came in 27th, and he said, really, if Boise State can get to like that top 30, you don't need yes, you want, like you said, Mike, they've had years where their defense was top 5 in the country. Yes. Nathan's just saying, can you get to top 30? Can you just get to where it's above average, top 30, and let the offense do the rest? He notes that 27th was Arizona State, and then that gave them just enough to almost knock off Texas in that Peach Bowl game that they should have won. And so he says top 30 should kind of be the goal. And he said that the gap from 50 to 30 in the defensive SP plus rankings is about 3 points a game, which may not seem like a lot, but that's basically one extra stop, turning a touchdown into a field goal, getting one extra turnover, and that was look at the Oregon game, one extra holding a touchdown to a field goal or something. Maybe you win that game. So it may not seem like a lot, but certainly, a field goal a game type difference could be a big deal for this defense. And he notes the different areas, Mike, and we've talked about the sacks. Certainly were impressive, 55 sacks, but 30 of those sacks are from guys no longer on the roster. And we've talked a lot about that pressure did a lot of things for them last year, but if you're banking on 55 sacks again and the same kind of winning in the exact same style, that may be tough to do this year with getting as much pressure as they did. And that the pass defense certainly has to get better. The run defense was solid, he said, but unremarkable last season, and that is an area that could improve. And then the secondary obviously was, we've talked about them, just was not great in terms of the pass defense. So if they can go from 50th to 30th, he says, and that may cover the offense taking a step back. Maybe the offense goes from 17th to 30th, but if the defense can make the step forward, he says that it would be good enough for them to go 11-1, win a conference championship, and get back to the playoff. And if the offense can maintain what it did and not see a drop-off without Jeanty, then all of a sudden he said this has a chance to be, maybe the best team since the Kellen Moore era going back into the playoff. But he said that's what's at stake for the defense. Can they go from best in the Mountain West to CFP-caliber and take this team over the top? And that is why we have them at number 3. Did some nice things last year, Mike, but as we said, if they can somehow, some way, and on paper, it may be a little scary to say, or maybe who are laughing at us for saying that this is possible, but if they make the necessary improvements and this defense can improve and the offense can still have this production without Jeanty, I mean, this team does have a chance to be pretty darn good this year.
I think Benefield, I think Irby, McCoy, and maybe even mix in a couple of other people that might have a chance to rise up, create the biggest question mark and the biggest anticipation and excitement for this defense. I think those 3 players are good. I really, truly do. And if they could be more consistent in terms of taking care of their responsibilities, I'm all good for that. But the biggest thing for me is going to have to be the takeaways, and that's where, whether it's Marco in the middle or some linebackers, whether it's the outside guys, the back end guys, Boise State's lack of ability to get the football and get it back to the offense, to me, has been almost alarming the last couple of years. I love the pressure that Eric Shenander brings, and that's fantastic. But you can bring pressure and still have a really good back end defense, and that's where the rub is for me. So maybe the pressure drops just a little bit. You get some help on the back end. You get Benefield, McCoy, Irby, and some of those guys to create some plays and create some turnovers and takeaways. And that's exactly what this defense is. I think that there's some good possibilities here. This defense is going to be good. I'm not worried about this defense being good. It's going to be good, especially in the Mountain West, where I don't see a lot of great offenses. As a matter of fact, I see a lot of crappy offenses this year, and I'm worried about the Mountain West and the offensive stars, the offensive weapons, the offensive production that every one of these teams are going to come through. So Boise State's defense is going to be good. Can it be elite? And that's what we're talking about here. CFP elite. That's the big question mark here. Probably not. I'm sure the ceiling and the floor are just a little bit different, but I do think this is going to be a good defense.
You mentioned the turnovers, Mike. 16 turnovers created in 14 games last year. That was it. I mean, they had years when I first got here, looking back at the golden era there in the late, early like 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all those years where they were getting 30 plus takeaways in a season. That is their goal. 3 a game, 30 takeaways is kind of the season goal. And they had half of that, 16 turnovers in 14 games too. You throw in the playoff and the Mountain West Championship. I mean, you had 14 games and they only had 16 takeaways. And so, yeah, in a year where we're going to talk about in the next question here, can the offense sustain life without Jeanty? The defense could help out a little bit with an extra turnover here or there, and that certainly needs to be the case in terms of getting more takeaways. But are you in the camp that, hey, Eric Shenander is just this great schemer, and no matter who the players are, he's going to find different ways to blitz and do this, and they're going to have 50 plus sacks again? Or should there be cause for concern with who they lost? And is this kind of scheme, did it work last year with who they had and the Tubners of the world, and maybe it won't be the same? I mean, should we be banking on the same kind of sack production or not? And if we're not, I think that adds more questions to the secondary there as well in terms of making up for some of those issues in the pass defense with all the sacks if they don't come as much this year.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that. I mean, because last year was so impressive, and two, you had the Ahmed JVM factor, and you had a couple of other people like the Shea Oladipos, and some of that is gone. And you've talked about the production, this defensive production that's missing from last year's football team. So I'm okay. I mean, 35, 40 sacks. What was they last year? They were 50 plus. 35, 40 sacks still seems aggressive to me. And I don't know. I'm not smart enough as an X's and O's guys to sit here and say, just because I went and got 50 sacks or just because the emphasis was on pressure, doesn't mean I can't get takeaways on the back end. You've got to be able to find that perfect balance. And I'm sure Eric Shenander is doing that. And he's got talent on the back end this year that he can exploit. The talent on the front end, we'll see. I mean, Jaden Virgin Morgan, Ahmed Hassanin in terms of production took a step back last year in terms of his stats. Jaden Virgin Morgan can't do that. He's got to continue to get double-digit sacks, and now he's going to have some help from like the Max Steeges of the world and somebody else. So somebody else has to defend those pressures, quarterback pressures from other places on the football field. And they'll come up with a nice scheme, and I think they got the players to do it. But I want that perfect balance, and that's what we want, this perfect defense, the CFP defense. And I think they can do it. I just don't know if we'll see it. We'll see how it plays out. But once again, going back to the Mountain West, the offense is so poor. The defense this year really has an opportunity to play well.
And somebody mentioning that we were what did he say? It said we were second in sacks. Well, actually, they were first. And if you want to go total sacks, Mike Prater, 55 sacks did lead the nation. So we were correct in that. If you want to go per game, yeah, you can see they were a little bit lower because Ohio State had 2 less sacks, but also played, 2 more games, however you want to look at it. Mississippi averaged 4 per game. But in just total sacks, Boise State, 55 sacks. They were second in the nation there. Okay, the defense certainly is an important question, Mike Prater. Can they do what is needed? And but I think an even bigger question that, again, we've talked about ad nauseum, but it is what it is the overarching biggest storyline for this offense and for this team. No Ashton Jeanty. And what does this offense look like? And can they sustain the same success that they had without Ashton Jeanty? And that's our question, too, that we'll discuss in just a second. But first, the Blue and Orange store. Make sure you check out the new Blue and Orange store during normal business hours down there at the Boise State Hall of Fame. That's right. It is now open during normal hours of the Hall of Fame. You want to go check out the Blue, check out the Hall of Fame. You can now go to a version of the Blue and Orange store right there at the Hall of Fame. We encourage you to go check that out. They obviously have their location at the Boise Town Square Mall as well. And online, you can order anywhere in the world at theblueandorange.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, we appreciate them as well. Their pre-owned pride lets you have that comfort when you buy a used vehicle that there's not going to be any issues with it. It's been inspected, and they've fixed everything that's wrong with it. So Lithia Ford of Boise, when we talk NIL and Boise State supporters, Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, the whole company there, they're at the top of the list. And they've got an event coming up on Saturday. We'll tell you about it later this week, but they're going to have some guys out at a car show and things on Saturday. So we'll tell you all about that throughout the week. But Lithia Ford of Boise, make sure you check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Matt Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. You can check them out online, Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Download the Skip app. Get savings up to 40% at the checkout line. That's Ridley's Family Markets at shopridleys.com. Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com, a local company helping out folks all over the world get into the trucking industry, all the necessary paperwork and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out. Transportation Compliance Service online at transcomservice.com. And next week will be the first episode of the RJ Keene Show presented by Signature Roofing. We're looking forward to that. You can leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN on the Signature Roofing voice inbox. And again, Signature Roofing, re-roof, repair, estimate, inspection, all your roofing needs. Make sure you check them out online at Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. All right, no Ashton Jeanty, Mike Prater. Everybody knows that by now that has followed this team, is watching this show. We feel pretty good about the running game, Sire Gaines and company there. But I don't think there's any denying that there may be a little more on Maddox Madsen this year and some key spots. And, the thing for me is just the home run plays, Mike. There were so many times where just first play of the drive, Jeanty goes 75 yards, and it's like, okay, there it is, and so some of those explosive plays, from Sire Gaines and Malik Sherrod and some of these guys, Breezy, that's what I'm going to be watching. Like, yeah, they can get the 5-6 yard runs, but can they get the home run runs at some of the rate that Ashton Jeanty did to really help, this offense and take the pressure off Maddox Madsen? We've talked about the receivers. We feel great about the tight ends, but the receivers certainly have some question marks there, which adds to the question mark of a Maddox Madsen having to put more on his plate with maybe not the most experienced, wide receiver group. No Ashton Jeanty. how does the offense succeed without Ashton Jeanty in 2025? That is our number 2 storyline. Our big one tomorrow is kind of just big picture. Can they get back to the CFP? So our biggest on the field question, Ashton Jeanty gone. What does the offense look like? How do they do it without him? Mike, we've talked about it for 7 months. We'll keep talking about it for the next 6 weeks till the season starts. But no Ashton Jeanty in this offense. Are they going to be in any kind of trouble?
I don't think so. I think they're going to be just fine. And I think Spencer Danielson, we talked about the defense and the production they've been giving up over the last couple of years and thinking they can get back to maybe the Andy Avalos days where they were giving up less than 20 points a game. I think they've done a great job the last 3 years of this offense. They've gone from 29 points a game to 32 points a game. And I think last year they got close to about 37 points a game. Ashton Jeanty was obviously a massive part of that. The home run stuff, when it comes to the running backs, I'm not too worried about that. That was an outlier last year in terms of getting that kind of a home run production from the running back spot because it was Ashton Jeanty. You don't need a home run from the running backs every single game. Over the course of the season, you need an explosive running game. There's no doubt about that. And Sire Gaines, in his limited time last year, showed that he can be explosive. And I think they're going to be just fine in that area, although it won't be anywhere near as sexy. The home run word, though, for me, is just as important with this offense and maybe even more important. And it comes down to Maddox Madsen and the home run passing game. It's been missing for a while. There's no doubt about that. You and I were there, and everybody was there during spring camp where the emphasis was on throwing the ball deep. So I think this offense is going to be just fine. The offense is fine. The line is fine. Maddox is fine. The running backs are fine. The tight end is great. The wide receivers are fine. It's the scheme and whether Maddox Madsen can connect on home run balls. He's going to have dump down effects to Matt Lauder, to Cam Bates, to Latrell Caples. He's going to be fine. And everything about this offense is going to be fine. But the one thing that can make it elite is if they can find this deep passing game, and that's been missing. So for me, it's all about Maddox Madsen throwing the ball 20, 30, 40 yards deep and connecting at least a couple of times every single game and doing it on a regular basis. Who that wide receiver is, I don't care. But Maddox Madsen needs to be able to throw the ball deep. The home run play is going to be a pass this year, not necessarily a run.
Well, first on the running game, a lot of those home runs were caused or came because of the after contact numbers for Ashton Jeanty. 1,970 yards, 152 missed tackles. Nearly 2,000 yards for Ashton Jeanty came after contact. Also, as I said, 152 missed tackles. Both of those are the most in the Pro Football Focus tracking data history era. And he says, hey, nobody's going to touch those numbers on this roster, but how big is the drop-off in terms of the missed tackles and getting those yards at or contact could play a big role in this offense. But you mentioned Maddox Madsen, and obviously a lot is on his plate. Our question last week, Mike, with number 3, number 4, maybe number 5 question was, Maddox Madsen is a good quarterback. Can he be an elite quarterback in terms of, also taking that kind of CFP caliber jump that is needed at the quarterback, position, Mike Prater, without kind of having the Ashton Jeanty safety blanket for him. And one note that Nathan says in his article, which again, this will be going up this afternoon for subscribers at BNN on the offensive numbers. But Maddox Madsen, Mike, was best when he was in play action. When he was in play action because of the fact that, these defenses had to focus so much on Jeanty when they would, when they would go to play action and fake the handoff to Jeanty and he would drop back to pass, he was 90 for 141, 1,300 passing yards, 11 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions with an exceptional 82.2 grade. And without the play action, his yards per attempt went from 9.2 to 6.7. And despite 133 more dropbacks, he had just 1 more touchdown without play action than with play action. He also doubled the interceptions without play action. So his stats when they were focused on Jeanty were better. When he just did the normal, typical dropback pass, they were not as good. And so the credit and I guess the respect that these teams early in the season give this running game not named Ashton Jeanty. I mean, we expect them to treat it a little bit differently defensively to start the season. So, are you in the camp that Maddox Madsen is going to be fine and we'll do what's needed here? Or what kind of questions do you have surrounding Maddox? And also, as we're getting low on time here, but the player of the year, we'll discuss this, but is there a real chance for you that he's going to be the preseason player of the year?
I think he is. I think it's kind of a lock. I think it's a no-brainer. I'm not sure who else it would be. And that's part of the problem with the Mountain West voting. And I'm going to talk to some people down there. I just didn't like being force-fed. When it comes to the player of the year, why do I have to vote on just something that coaches nominated? If coaches want to nominate for positions, that's fine. But let me have whoever I want for Mountain West player of the year. Will Maddox Madsen be player of the year? 100%. Will Maddox Madsen be a good quarterback this year? 100%. Will Maddox Madsen be an elite quarterback this year? I'm not sure Maddox Madsen is ever going to be elite, but I'm not quite sure what the definition of elite here is. Is he going to be elite for the Mountain West? Absolutely. Is he going to be elite for this offense? He's going to be pretty damn good, I think. We'll see how it all plays out, but you don't have to go out there and be Kellen Moore every single time. I'm not even sure in the midst of what he was doing, we thought guys like Brett Rippon were elite. He got pretty damn good toward the end there and was very productive in terms of what he did, but he certainly had his ups and downs. And Maddox Madsen, who's going to be here this year and next year. Maddox Madsen, if the plan and the theory goes as planned, he's going to be here for the next 28 to 30 football games. And imagine what he's going to look like when that is all said and done. I think he's going to be pretty damn good. And at that point, he might be elite. But Maddox Madsen is going to be good. He's going to be functional. He's going to be smart. And if he could just become a better downfield passer, then he's well on his way to becoming elite. But right now, I don't see it quite becoming that good.
And you wanted to vote for Sire Gaines, correct?
Yeah, I think Sire Gaines, if you looked at me right now and I looked at all 12 rosters on paper, Sire Gaines, and I know that there's the past and 2.5 games here, and he's played, 2.5 games in 3 years or whatever it is. And a lot of it's potential, a lot of it's speculation, a lot of it's hype. But I think it's real. I think Sire Gaines is good. And on paper, more than anybody else, I think Sire Gaines is the best player in the Mountain West Conference. But yeah, I voted for Maddox Madsen. There's no way you can convince me that Maddox Madsen is the best player, the best offensive player in the Mountain West Conference. But when I say that, it sounds dumb and it makes me mad and everybody gets all fired up. But it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of real. Maddox Madsen is not the best player in the Mountain West Conference. I think he's pretty damn good, but we'll see how it plays out.
Well, we're looking forward to today, and I think in the business, Mike, they call your kind of show today the parking lot show, because you've got the keys running, you're ready to get to the airport and get to Vegas and get things started tonight. But I know you guys have a nice 3-hour show planned today on a Monday. You guys will get into Tyson Degenhart and his weekend in the Summer League and set the stage for Media Days as well. That'll be 3 to 6 today, Idaho Sports Talk on KTIK, and then we will all meet down in Vegas tonight, and BNN will be live tomorrow. I got to figure out the time here if we want to go. I don't like this time change. I think I may go 9 a.m. in Vegas. We may go 10 a.m. the rest of the week if that's okay with folks instead of 9, just to work with the time change. I think we're going to go 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Mountain Time will be the time the rest of the week here, Mike Prater, for our live shows. I know Gloria talks at 8, so I think if we wait till after that, we can maybe start at 9. We'll figure that out. But let's plan for 10 a.m. at least tomorrow. John Mallory and I, and then you guys will be live from the sports book tomorrow. Should be we always love getting down to Circa, Derek Stevens and company, and it's going to be a fun couple of days, Mike.
I'm looking forward to it. We've got I sent out the invitation over the weekend, and Derek Stevens has got an open invite. He's a very busy man, but we love getting him on the show and love building this relationship and appreciate you opening up the path for that. But we see if we can get Derek on the show when we're doing it live from the Circus Sportsbook on Tuesday. And I know he'll be walking around, shaking hands, kissing babies, and doing the thing at Mountain West Media Days at Circus. So really looking forward to this. There's a lot of questions. This is probably one of the most uneventful storyline seasons, but there's still some questions that need to be answered, and I can't wait to see how that plays out.
And again, 75% off. Subscribe today so you don't miss any of our coverage at Mountain West Media Days. A full year of coverage at BNN and 247 Sports for just $30. You get all of our VIP content, all of our recruiting content. You're going to get daily coverage of the team once fall camp starts. We're going to have 6, 7, 8 articles published over the course of the week at Media Days from Nathan, from myself, from Prater, exclusive VIP subscriber-only shows. So this deal is going away. I had to fight for it, and they let me keep it until Thursday when Media Day ends. So if you're on the fence, just give us a try. 1 year, $30, $250 a month. Click the annual and sign up and give us a shot. BroncoNationNews.com is the website, BroncoNationNews.com. Sign up today, get loaded in and locked in. So when we start our coverage tomorrow morning on location, actually this afternoon when Mike Prater's column goes up on his one question he has for every person, every coach in the Mountain West, that'll go up this afternoon to VIP members and subscribers. So sign up today. Help us out if you can. We'd love to have you. And this is going to be the week you want to do it. So take advantage before it goes back to full price. Daily coverage coming from Las Vegas for Media Days. Then next week, Mike, we have the Media Pro Day. I'm looking forward to seeing you out there running the 40 and some of the other things that we have scheduled for that. And then I think late next week already, Spencer Danielson is doing his introductory press conference and fall camp gets going. Here fairly soon, next couple of weeks. So looking forward to it. And BroncoNationNews.com is going to be your spot for your daily coverage. And hopefully you subscribe and our partnership with KTIK. I mean, we're going to have, I think, 8 consecutive hours, Mike, of streaming both days. We'll do 5 hours, basically 10 to 3 Mountain Time. You guys will go 3 to 6. We'll even have a joint simulcast on a couple of segments where we'll be live on BNN and KTIK at the same time. We got Jeanty, we got Prater, and I'm really looking forward to having Kent Riddle as well. We had Mike Sanford come last year. Kent Riddle is going to be down there co-hosting with us. And he knows all these coaches very well, from coaching with them, from recruiting with them. You know, the coaching profession is a small family there from that aspect. So we're going to get some great stories and things with Kent Riddle and some of these coach and player interviews coming up all day as well. So appreciate you, Prater. Appreciate KTIK. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Vegas tonight. And looking forward to our coverage kicking off tomorrow morning live from Circa Resort and Casino at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. But again, subscribe now, BroncoNationNews.com, so you don't miss out on any of our coverage throughout the week. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Looking forward to it. And, going to be a slow day for us, Prater, to get on that flight. But once we get down there, we're super excited. Going to be fun. So bring a little cash, Prater. Let's go to the blackjack table. Come on.
Let's have some fun. Well, we're not going outside because I just looked at my app, and the high today is supposed to be 113. So I got my black T-shirt on, and I'm ready for Vegas, man. Bring it on. Let's get after it. We're going to have some fun.
Well, you didn't get my last email then, because I was trying to tell you that we're not doing it at the sports book. You're actually going to be out by the pool tomorrow, Mike. Come on.
I did bring the swimsuit just in case, but nobody wants to see that.
All right. Have a great day, everybody. Listen 3 to 6 to KTIK Idaho Sports Talk, and then we'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow live from Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas to kick off 3 days of Mountain West Media Days coverage. Thanks again to rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Have a great day. We'll see you from Las Vegas tomorrow morning. Going to be a lot of fun with BNN and KTIK at Circa Resort Casino for Mountain West Media Days. We'll talk to you then. Listen today to Johnny and Prater at 3 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.